Good evening and welcome into the gym here at St. Patrick High School. You're tuned into the maiden voyage of No Fans in the Stands TV. Nick Magas here alongside my partners Rick Malnati and Joe Henricksen. Got a good one for you tonight. We'll be bringing you some of the best high school Chicagoland rivalries and matchups over the next few weeks during this COVID-shortened season. For now, it's the Dons from Notre Dame here at St. Patrick tonight to take on the Shamrocks, and this is one of the oldest and best rivalries in the Chicagoland area, made even better this year by the fact that both of these teams come into this season ranked in the top 10.
Yeah, it's the rivalry right so far this season. I mean, this is the game that we've kind of been waiting for in terms of kind of revving, juicing this thing up. And it's one of the best rivalries in high school basketball. Every year, the only thing we're missing is obviously the great student sections of these two teams. And this gym is usually filled, obviously, in normal times. Last year's game at Notre Dame was just pretty electric for a high school basketball game. But, hey, we got it here for you here, streaming here.
Yeah, and when is the last time both these guys played each other, Joe, being ranked in the top 10? That doesn't happen. I think this is the highest ranking St. Pat's has ever had going into a season.
That's got to be, as far as this matchup in particular, it's probably the first time in a long time, if not forever, that both have been top 10.
Well, I feel fortunate to be here, and I feel fortunate that we're able to bring a great game to people out there watching. Let's take a look at some of the college guys. Joe, you're the premier college scout in the Chicago area. Let's talk about some of these guys from St. Pat's that have a chance to play at the next level.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to start with the juniors. I mean, Tamaris Brown, he is one of my top 15 junior prospects in the class. 6'5", lefty, big-bodied wing. He had a really productive sophomore season a year ago. Caleb Coro's got he is the epitome of your point guard. He runs the show for them. When St. Pat's has been good, they have had a quality point guard, whether it be Sammy Maniscalco or Austin Freeman or Brian Smith or Nick Coleman, a long list of great point guards at St. Pat's, and he's a good one going to Olivet Nazarene. And Michael Hamilton, obviously, is our big man, 6'7", really improved, Rick, over the course of the second half of last season. Came on strong, going to a Division III heavyweight in Augustana. So those are a real solid group. And then you've got the high-profile guys at Notre Dame. I mean,
yeah, but let's stay a little bit on Hamilton, because I talked to Bailey yesterday, the coach of St. Pat's, and he said that Hamilton, like most big guys, come in high school and their best basketball's ahead of him. He said when he came to high school, he liked basketball. He said now the kid loves basketball. He turned into a gym rat. And when you watch kids develop, bigger kids develop, that's usually what it takes. They need to really love the game because they do develop at a little bit
slower pace. Yeah, no question that. And in addition to that, the confidence. You know, those guards got the ball in their hands all the time when they're young, they're used to it. You know, he was a late blooming kid last year, like I said, second half of the season, completely different player than he was when I saw him at Christmas time. And that progression is he looks the part. He's big, he's long, he runs the floor. It's all about consistency as well as that confidence level, which has taken another step, between last year and now.
Yeah, and then Nick Galati, who we didn't think was going to play, the kid came off. He was their leading scorer last year, averaging probably 14, 15 a game. He tore his ACL in, I think, January.
Yeah, 16 games into the season.
And now he's back playing, and we didn't think we were going to see him tonight, but I think he's just taped up, ready to go, just because this is such a great rival.
Yeah, give it a go with that because, they need, in a game like this, when you're playing a team like Notre Dame, he is a major scoring option for them, a weapon for them on the perimeter. And as you mentioned, he's a double-figure scorer last year before he went down. We'll see kind of how it comes together for him here. You never know how they're going to respond with nursing some injuries and getting back. But yeah, he's a valuable weapon on the perimeter for them.
Yet to get the starting lineups yet from Notre Dame, but right off the bat, who stands out to you for those guys?
Well, they got a lot of Italians on their team, which I like, Joe. I got to tell you, Troy D'Amico, I would say one of my favorite players to watch last year because I love his toughness. I think his toughness kind of separates him from a lot of great high school players. He can score inside, he can score outside, he's going to Southern. I think that's a great pickup for Southern.
Yeah, you hit it on the head there, Rick, with the blue-collar mentality he brings. He is a workhorse. He's a star who does dirty work, and that's what I loved about him last year. He really, though, added to his perimeter game and became a much almost like a point forward. When Sales, I remember last year in the Curie game, and
that was
Sales,
a great game.
And Sales got some foul trouble, and D'Amico is the one that handled the pressure, brought the ball up the floor against that Curie pressure. He's you look at this Notre Dame team, 3 guys, Rick, in my top 10 players in the class of 2021. So,
well, that's probably why they were ranked 1 coming into the year.
Yeah, 3 guys Division I. Obviously, he's going to Southern Illinois. A great steal for Brian Mullins and the Salukis. And then Louis Lesman is the highest profile, highest ranked kid. He turned down the high majors and decided to go the academic route and headed to Harvard.
Well, sometimes you make a 40-year decision, not a 4-year decision, right? And Lesman started his career, I think he came over to Evanston as a sophomore and then transferred over to Notre Dame.
France first and then Evanston.
Yeah, France, Evanston to Notre Dame. Well, we're probably going to get ready for the national anthem here. But Sales is uncommitted, also quarterback on the football team.
Top uncommitted player left in that senior class.
Where do you think he's going? You got any ideas?
He's got a lot of mid-major interests, so we'll kind of let this season play out and hopefully get some more evaluations on them here in the stretch run of this 4 to 5 weeks abbreviated season.
All right, we'll step out for a moment. Back after the national anthem with starting lineups. You're listening to No Fans in the Stands TV.
This year, the Owensville Boys High School in the state of Illinois for tonight's East Suburban Catholic Conference matchup between the visiting Dons of Notre High School and our St. Patrick Shamrocks. Before we begin tonight's contest, we please all rise, remove your caps as we enjoy our national anthem.
Back from St. Patrick, you're tuned in to Notre Dame and St. Pat's. The starting lineups came out a moment ago. We touched on a lot of these names already. For the Dons, the visiting team, Troy D'Amico, Anthony Sales, Jake DeFranza, Frank Lynch, and Louis Lesman on the floor to start the game. For the Shamrocks, Caleb Coro, Jackson Gitterly, Nick Galati, Tamaris Brown, and Michael Hamilton.
Well, we expect to see St. Pat's playing 1-3-1. Bailey switched to play 1-3-1 a few years back, and that's kind of all he plays right now. And you know Notre Dame's going to just play man-to-man, no switching, in-your-face type defense.
And how quickly can you adjust? You know, the big thing with this is so many games are being played. There's not a whole lot of time to prepare. Obviously, Notre Dame played on Sunday, so not a whole lot of time to prep for a 1-3-1, which is always tough.
Yeah, and having Anthony Sales back is going to make all the difference in the world. They got beat a little bit by Mundelein, but they didn't have Sales, who's key to their attack.
COVID rules, no tip-off for this game, so the Dons, the visiting team, will start with the basketball.
Now, does that make any sense? You rebound, you do it, but you don't tip off? Makes no sense to me.
They were playing. Let's not be picky.
Okay.
It's Sales right off the bat, dialing it up from the corner, no good. Rebound and brought the other way by St. Patrick.
And Bailey's going to play a 5-out, kind of just a drive and dish type offense, try and beat you off the dribble. Notre Dame usually provides a lot of help.
Michael Hamilton trying to get to the rack, runs over his defender and draws a foul.
You see a little bit of that versatility right there, Hamilton. I mean, he's a big guy, can put on the duck a little bit, get to the rim.
Bailey always has great baseline out of bounds plays.
Morris Brown has it on the perimeter for pass. Going inside is Galati. Dishes to his teammate up and off the glass. It's good. First 2 points of the game belong to the Shamrocks and Michael Hamilton.
They called traveling. I don't know about that call.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Now, we don't have instant replay on No Fans in the Stands TV.
We'll have it by the end of our run, though.
So, if you guys aren't familiar, No Fans in the Stands TV, since nobody can be at games, we're going to live stream some games kind of leading up to that Chipotle tournament at the end of the year and try and make high school basketball as good as we can. Oh, I thought that was a bad call too, Joe.
Rick's just hammering on the officials already. We're just a minute and 20 in.
I gotta look down and see if I even like these refs.
This is going to be a long few weeks. That was Lesman who couldn't connect on the three. Notre Dame still with the ball. Trying to get inside is DeFranza. He loses it. Pat's coming the other way.
Coro's going to be good in the open court like that.
Still scoreless here with 6:20 to play in the first quarter. Tipped by the defender there, goes out of bounds. No, they go. That ball's going back to Pats.
That's the third
Okay,
bad call,
I'll give you that one.
That's a third.
I'm going to give you that one. All right, you're right.
That's the third bad call. Maybe they're even them up. I think the last two went in Notre Dame's favor. This way, at least St. Pat's got back.
Hey, the refs had a long break, too. They've been off.
Coro gets a screen up top, tries to slip it down low, and they get a kick ball.
That one okay with you, Rick? That one?
I like that call.
Okay.
Let's reset the shot clock, Joe. Speaking of shot clock, the No Shot Clock podcast, probably the best high school coverage you can get. You and Mike O'Brien.
We'll be recording tomorrow.
Can't wait. Listen to that podcast regularly. When you're dribbling the ball, you never like a guy running his guy right at you.
Morris Brown from deep, no good. Jake DeFranza slowing it down for Notre Dame.
Good cut.
Nice cut by DeFranza. Tries to get inside. Looked like Hamilton got a piece of it. Now all the way to the other end, and that ball's tipped around and goes out of bounds.
I mean, for a junior, big body, Morris Brown, I mean, he is a freight train in the open floor. I mean, he is.
Who does he remind you of?
I mean, he's got that lefty. I have to think on that one. But, I mean, he's got some. Hopefully, he can show some of that versatility that he showed last year.
That's Bailey's inbound play.
We could use a bucket here.
Sales from up top. That won't go. Lesman going baseline now, pulls up for a short jumper, gets a friendly roll, and that's the first 2 points of the game.
2-point lead's big in this game, Joe.
Lesman coming up with a steal right there and stays with Notre Dame. Firing away from deep, and that's good.
You gotta love Lesman's versatility. Put it on the floor, pull up, mid-range jumper, follows it up with a steal on defensive end, hits a three. That's why he's a top 5 prospects in this class.
Okay, I know he's going to Harvard, but where could he have went? Where were his other offers?
You mean what's better?
You know, Wisconsin was on him, Xavier was on him. I mean, he had a lot of high major interest. Oklahoma was on him hard.
So Galati hit that shot. Galati is returning their leading scorer from last year, but we did not expect him to play today because he was hurt.
Tore his ACL last year, re-injured that knee this week in practice. Doesn't look like he's wearing a brace or anything, though. Didn't expect him to be on the floor tonight. We expected to see Andrew Ianni getting his first start of his high school career, and here comes Ianni right now, the sophomore.
A little note that we picked up from talking to coaches that Ianni and the sophomore Sonny Williams from Notre Dame played great school basketball today.
Sonny Williams, another really good-looking young prospect. Just a sophomore, got a taste of varsity, but this abbreviated season will give him a big opportunity to kind of, step into a role that he didn't have a year ago.
Well, because we don't have commercials, we got to kind of ad-lib here through some of the timeouts. So, one of the things, talking to Bailey, these are the two largest all-male schools, I think, in the state of Illinois. Notre Dame being the largest all-male school, St. Pat's being second. Not many Catholic schools are all-male anymore. In the last 62 years, they've had two coaches. Max Curlin was here for 35 years. Bailey's now in his 27th year. So in those 62 years, how many losing seasons do you think they had at St. Pat's?
I'm going to guess 4. 3. I'm going 3.
5.
Yeah, in a big series that I put together in the Sun Times, the top 50 programs of the decade, that was kind of the highlight, or the underrated highlight that was given for St. Pat's. That's an unbelievable run of not only success, but, no turnover in the coaching ranks.
Yeah, and that continuity, you got a program that just stays and is, good every single year. And this gym on a normal day is rocking. The student section on the floor, you can't hardly take the ball. Kind of like Duke.
And Bailey mentioned, not a whole lot of D1 players coming out of the school, but as he said, to quote him, guys who played for St. Pat's. Speaks to the culture he's set up here over the last 27 seasons. Sales with the ball now for Notre Dame. D'Amico with a touch. Now into the corner, it's Frank Lynch. Cross-court pass couldn't be handled by Sonny Williams, and it's out of bounds going the other way.
When you pass from the top to the side against 1-3-1 and cut through, a lot of times you're open. So I like how they're attacking the 1-3-1.
Just inside 4 minutes to play here in the first quarter of this ball game. 5-3 lead for the Dons. It's Brown trying to get inside, now kicks out to Ianni. 3-ball, no good. Tip pass there from Sales, got into the corner. Now Anthony gets it back, going down the lane and gets a blocking foul, but can't connect on the shot.
I just think we'll continue to see teams trying to piece things together in this early part. We always got to remember the long layoff. These teams usually play together 27 out of 30 days in June. Then they have some, fall workouts together. And obviously 2+ weeks of practice prior to Thanksgiving, a normal year. So we are really just in uncharted waters as far as
infancy part of the season. And I hear you guys always talking about, the importance of Thanksgiving tournaments. You kind of throw those out when you're looking at teams. It's just the start. People, the first day of the season, get a chance to play some games. They try and rush 3 or 4 games in, and as a coach, that's kind of when you evaluate where your team is. And that's right where they are right now, probably like the first week of the season.
Yeah, NBA has preseason. College basketball has a couple exhibition games. High school, you kick it right up with Thanksgiving tournaments, and in theory, it's basically your preseason. And that's kind of where we are in the first week of the season.
Coro trying to go inside, lost his footing, able to get it out to his teammate Hamilton.
All 5 guys on St. Pat's can handle the ball a little bit.
It is again the second travel called on St. Pat's. That one made a little more sense.
That was a good call. The refs are 1 for 4.
Despite the little bit of raggedness, the games I've watched so far this season, this one does have, and as expected, a little more energy. In the gym here, you feel a little bit even without the big crowd that we usually have.
Sales got fouled there by Hamilton, and you could hardly hear the whistle. I think that's, you should shoot one on those. When you blow the whistle halfway, you should only get one shot.
The official's now 1 for 5, according to Rick Malnati. Meanwhile, Sales 3 for 3 from the charity stripe.
Notre Dame's so much better than when we saw him at Mundelein on Sunday. Just so much better with Sales in the game. It lets D'Amico play off the ball a little bit, gets him more effective. He had the ball in his hands way too much, I think.
Yeah, and when you're taking a Division I point guard out of your lineup, it's a trickle-down effect.
I bet Coro's not usually guarded by a guy like Lesman, a 6'5" athlete that can put all kinds of pressure and length on him.
And again, that versatility. Louis can go out there with his length, go and guard.
Great cut.
Yep. That's Hamilton getting to the basket. His first 2 points of the game for the Shamrocks. 2.5 minutes to play in the first quarter. The Dons control the basketball in the half court. Cross-court pass to Sales from the corner. Shot comes up short.
Is that probably his weakness, Joe? Is his perimeter shooting?
It's come a ways. It's come along.
And that's Coro finding his big man. There's another bucket. And just like that, the Shamrocks are back within 2.
Notre Dame's got to, they're going to have to penetrate the 1-3-1 a little bit more. They're settling for a lot of threes right now.
Yeah, and when they're shooting perimeter shots, again, another thing that hurts the 1-3-1 is you can rebound against it, and they're not even running to the boards right now.
It's a bad pass, and it's going to be picked off by Lesman. Lesman now bounce pass to Sales, who goes up and in. The Dons right back on the board here. Sales now has 6.
Wearing masks, the kids wearing masks, I think it's not as loud as you would normally hear defense. Standing right here on top of their defense, it's pretty quiet. You hear the coaches yelling, but you don't hear the kids talking as much. I think that's got to have a mask effect.
Drive and kick. Shot no good from Galati. Louis Lesman, the Harvard commit, coming the other way for Notre Dame. D'Amico now, Sales from the corner, thought about it, passes it back out.
Has D'Amico taken a shot yet?
I don't think he has. Hasn't touched the ball much either, but that's Sonny Williams going inside, getting a bucket.
That's a great cut from behind the defense to the middle and a great find.
Notre Dame now starting to settle in the paint, having the same problems they were having from beyond the arc in the Mundelein game, their first loss of the season.
They're going to play for 1. Now here you go with the shot clock, Joe. What do you think?
You want one?
I'm not a fan of a shot clock.
I've done a 180.
You're a fan.
I never wanted one. In the last 5 to 8 years, I'm all for one.
I just think, it just adds another component, and as a coach, it allows you to control a little bit more, I like the momentum at the end of quarters like this. This is a big momentum play right here.
5 on the clock. We know you can't see it on our feed, and that one's stolen away by Notre Dame. Going the other way with 1 second to play, and Sales didn't get it off. So a wasted possession right there from Pats. Held the ball for 30 seconds and didn't get a shot up.
Those last 2 minutes, last 3 minutes were much better than the first 2 or 3. So hopefully we can kind of get a little bit of a flow going here in the second quarter.
Yeah, there was a plethora of turnovers early in the game. The game got cleaned up a little bit.
I think the thing that stood out to me, though, in that Notre Dame 13-7 lead, and again, I've already talked about it already, but watching Louis Lesman there, he got on the boards down here. He had an assist on transition bucket. Hit the 3, pull-up jumper. He also is guarding on the point guard. So, the versatility that both, and D'Amico hasn't shown a lot of that in his first quarter yet, but you got a pair of guys that are 6'7", 6'6", that provide you that type of versatility, that kind of size at the high school level. It's such a huge advantage and creates so many different types of mismatches.
Well, how many times do you go to a game and see a Division I kid not take a shot in the first quarter? I don't think D'Amico took a shot. I think that speaks a little bit to his character that, hey, listen, I'm going to get everybody else involved before I start, working on my stuff.
And if you go by last year's numbers, it jumps out at you. You're looking at all state numbers, all area numbers, and you get them in. Their shot attempts between Sales, D'Amico, and Lesman, their efficiency was unbelievable. They averaged, they were very balanced between 13 and 16 a game, but on very few shots. So that's another big attribute that trio brings to this game in Notre Dame.
Yeah, not many teams have 3 senior Division I players on their roster. So high expectations for Notre Dame. And sometimes it's hard to live up. Sometimes it's those role players. That Bergstrom kid from last year is a big miss. I mean,
huge.
That kid did a lot of stuff.
And he hit big shots. He hit important shots for them.
Yeah. So I think that, DeFranza's got to be a knockdown shooter for him. Lynch has to be that kind of guy that takes Bergstrom. And, again, it's their 5th game of the year, 6th game of the year. So
yeah, Lynch was a 6th man a year ago, and he's got a bigger role this year. He's kind of their jack of all trades, guy that kind of does a lot of the dirty work for them as well.
Hamilton working down low, gets a friendly bounce there. 13-9.
I like seeing a post. I like seeing a post catch and a post move. Every time you catch against the zone, shot fake, ball fake, makes the defense move.
An air ball there from Jake DeFranza. And if you're D'Amico now, you talked about his unselfishness, but how many shots are you going to watch your teammates miss before you let one fly yourself?
Yeah, I think he's going to get a shot up or he's going to get an offensive rebound, but he's going to get himself involved offensively pretty quick. He needs to.
Yeah, because D'Amico had a little bit of an off game against Mundelein in that loss on Sunday. He did not show all that he's capable of doing because, like I said, he's as versatile as they come. He's tough. He's competitive.
Yeah, I love his game. I really love his game. And I think his game's going to translate to the next level. I think he's going to be, Andy, the way Mullins coaches down at Southern, I mean, he fits that mold perfectly.
Oh, if you look at how Southern plays, how Brian Mullins played, how Brian Mullins coaches, he's the epitome of what they're looking for. And, when I did my, looking back at signing day, I felt he was one of the top steals of that group, of the senior group.
I agree. It was kind of like Jeremiah Williams last year going to Temple.
He's having a good freshman year.
Oh, he is a kid that does everything on the basketball court. He might knock his perimeter shooting, but he does everything else.
And the runner-up for Jeremiah Williams.
Lesman with a man in his face knocks it down.
Southern Illinois. So they just missed out on getting Jeremiah Williams down at Carbondale.
Lesman's doing a great job on Cora.
Oh, he's had a great game.
Annie trying to get inside, spinning around, has his shot blocked, and here comes Sonny Williams with numbers the other way. Kicks it back out. DeFranza for 3. That comes up short. Rebound by Coro.
I think for Notre Dame to reach their peak, DeFranza's got to be a knockdown shooter. He's got to make open threes.
Because you're going to get them. With those 3 guys, the concentration, the defenses are going to pay attention to those 3 guys. Guys are going to have open shots for Notre Dame. They're going to get open looks. Problem is you just don't have a whole lot of time in this season to kind of find your way.
A couple of Pats players ran into each other right there and got called for yet another travel.
Yeah,
There's Williams with the basketball.
Pat's turning over a little bit more than normal. One of the things Bailey talked about playing a 1-3-1, it gives it more time in practice to work on individual skill work, and they're always skilled. St. Pat's is always a skilled team.
That's what Jim Boeheim at Syracuse always says too. We don't have to spend a whole lot of time on defense. When we're in that 1-3-1, we just locked in and know it.
Lesman trying again from the same spot now. Missed them both. But DeFranza came down with the rebound, and a jump ball is called.
Yeah, they're flaring the weak side, skipping the ball over the top and getting open looks. They just haven't knocked many down.
Well, they have their 7-point lead, but the other thing you'd like to see them maybe do, and I think Kevin Clancy would like to see them, is get out and transition a little bit more before that 1-3-1 obviously can set up.
Nothing like getting easy baskets. You know, the team that usually gets the most easy baskets wins.
Great ball movement right there from the Dons. Lesman misses once again, though. Ianni going hard to the hole.
Ooh, no
misses
call on
another
that.
layup.
There you go.
Charge.
They need to continue to try to get in the teeth of that defense. They cannot continue to settle.
But you can't leave your feet when you drive baseline against a 1-3-1, especially against a 4-year player like Caleb Coral. He's going to be there taking a charge every time. You know, when you play 1-3-1, the low guy is your toughest guy. That's where you put your toughest kid and your most vocal kid, because he can tell everybody what's going on.
Yeah. Bailey spoke really highly about how Caleb Coral plays a lot bigger than he is and a lot more physical than he is.
St. Pat's is in need of a basket. Tough shot.
Malnati looking for a foul there. His jumper from the free throw line was no good. Now there's D'Amico dialing it up, no good. Rebound snagged by Pats. Samaras Brown between the legs pass. Toa on the line there for Coro, but shot's no good.
The last couple shots off the dribble, that is not Mike Bailey's type of basketball. He doesn't like many shots coming off the dribble.
Good drive and kick out from D'Amico. Once again, though, the Dons miss on the 3 ball.
Yeah.
We don't have a stats crew here, do we? Because I'd love to know how many threes have been put up.
Well, I know there's been a lot of misses.
Did you play much 1-3-1 at Notre or Fenwick?
You know, I played 1-3-1 in 1 year. I had a pretty good team. I had about 5 guys that were 6'3" to 6'5" with great length, and we played it. We played it pretty effectively throughout the course of the year. But in the state tournament, we ran into an issue where we had to go man, and we weren't capable of guarding man. And after that, I was way more.
Because you played 1-3-1 the whole year, pretty much.
All year, that whole year. And then I was more of the mind of, you know what, 1-3-1's a great weapon. You know, you're a great man-to-man team. You can count on your man-to-man to get stops. But every once in a while, you throw that 1-3-1 in, and it just can stifle the team. And, you know, you got to prepare against it, right? So, and we were the only one in the Catholic League, and the only one back in the day, the only one in the Suburban that switched screens. We switched every screen when we played man-to-man. Now that's kind of been the vogue. Everybody's switching screens. But when you do something, I think that's what Bailey was getting at. He's the only guy in his conference that plays this. Everybody else plays in the gaps, and, you know, so as a coach, you're preparing for that. You get used to that, and all of a sudden you play St. Pat's, and you got to prepare for 1-3-1.
On short time, too.
Short, yeah, especially this year. You know, and what Bailey said, which I loved, he said, normally, you know, I tell my guys we're in a 4-month marathon. This year, we're in a 5-week sprint. And it's so much different. I mean, this year, there are so many variables going into this year, but hopefully these guys will start playing, you know, up to their capabilities in a couple of weeks, and we get them at the end of the year in the Chipotle Classic, which is going to be so much fun.
I mean, I know coaches get set in their ways. I'm 32 minutes a man, or I'm, you know, I just don't know why you wouldn't want to be. I just think it's such a difficulty for opposing team when you are switching up defenses.
Especially for, you know, you play again. When you switch defenses up, and you know what does, I'll give Nick Irvin his due here, okay? At Morgan Park, Nick Irvin would switch defenses in the middle of a possession. That's hard. I mean, it's hard to play against.
Especially for high school kids to adjust to that. I mean, high school kids, it takes them 2 trips to figure out sometimes what they're in.
Sales with the ball in the quarter for Notre Dame. Talk about coaches getting set in their ways. What does it say about Bailey, 27 years into his St. Pat's career, who has been coaching man-to-man that entire time, willing to make that switch a couple of years ago?
Yeah, and I know like guys like Paul Harris kind of went to ball press, and there's other guys that have went to ball press. The guy York went to ball press.
Wheaton South. I mean, ball press is It swept up a little bit. I
Yeah,
mean,
but what it does, it allows you, like, you know how much time coaches spend on scouting reports and going over plays and teaching, you know, that stuff. It takes a lot of, more or less you work on personnel, you know, and it frees you up as a coach. I'll tell you what, I might have been able to coach for 27 years if I just played zone. I should have thought of that a long time ago.
well, and you instill that in your program from the get-go all the way up through the program, and it becomes your system.
How about that move from Tamaris Brown, showing how he can get to the hole?
They needed a basket. Tamaris Brown, who this year is their leading scorer, he's averaged 22 points a game. They've only played 2 games, but they needed a basket, and he delivered.
He's got their last 2, that pull-up jumper on the other possession, and then that one.
It's beneficial to be lefty sometimes. That was a great cut.
There we go. Get D'Amico at the rim. Get an easy opportunity, like you said, Rick.
And I think, you know, Troy wants that back. I think he wants to finish that.
Yep.
He wants to be able to finish through contact. He's a strong, tough kid. And, you know, the one thing I love about D'Amico, and, you know, when you watch players on the court, you watch how he talks to his teammates. He demands excellence from his teammates. And you don't see that kind of, you know, maybe you call it old school leadership, but I love that. I love a kid because when you are willing to say that, then, you know, they expect you to play hard all the time too when you're expecting your teammates to play hard.
Well, that's the other thing between him and Sales. Sales is another great leader at that point guard spot. And Sales reminds me a little bit of old school Tracy Abrams back when he was at Mount Carmel, Illinois. Physical, tough leader.
That's a major compliment because Tracy Abrams was great.
D'Amico 1 for 2 from the free throw line. 19 points for the Dons. 16 of them belong to the combination of Sales and Lesmond. Pats with the ball now. Galati going all the way to the rim, gets it off the glass and in.
It doesn't seem like a 4-point game, doesn't it? No. Seem like Notre Dame's winning by a little bit more than 4. You let a team hang around.
Yep.
Especially in a rivalry like this, but we expect the game to go down to the wire.
Sales with a pump fake, tries to drive baseline, gets a foul.
These last 2-3 possessions, again, Notre Dame has not settled. What's the call there, Rick?
I think he called a hook. Did he hook him?
Number 5.
We got to get Tommy Molitor, our producer, looking back on that play. Tommy Molitor from Dot Productions, just getting in the live stream business. You got a wedding coming up? Call Dot Productions.
Tommy with a fist pump over here to my right. We'll get you a couple more of those.
He does weddings, funerals. No funerals? Okay, just weddings. We only do happy occasions at Dot Productions. That was a tough pass. Great ball fake. The power of the ball fake, Joe.
It only does so much when the shots don't fall, though.
Notre Dame's got to get
it. Yeah, Notre Dame gets called for a foul.
They got to rebound the ball against this zone. They're kind of standing watching, not really going to the boards.
You know, as we watch Notre Dame here in these 4 or 5 weeks, I think it's going to be interesting to see, because they are not playing what Notre Dame is capable of playing up to this point. But at some point, I fully anticipate it just kind of clicking, and you're going to be like, okay, that's the Notre Dame team.
A battle for on the baseline after the miss. St. Pat's with a new chance here. 53 seconds to play till halftime. Nice pass inside. It's Michael Hamilton. Augustana commit now with 8 points for the Shamrocks.
Galati's really picked it up offensively.
D'Amico pricks the shot but draws the foul. He'll go to the line shooting 3.
I don't think Coach Bailey particularly liked fouling a 3-point shooter.
Well, especially when it's a 24-foot three-pointer. And you're closed within 2. You're down within 40 seconds. You're right there, right before the half. And you put them at the line for 3 free throws. That's
Well, here the shot clock controversy is going to come in on this next possession, Joe, because I think Coach Bailey will not mind going down in the locker room down 3 or 4 points. So I'm guessing he's going to hold the ball here for one shot.
No 2-for-1s here.
There's no 2-for-1s with the no shot clock. And that's got to help D'Amico too, just seeing the ball go through the hoop. He's struggled the last 5-6 quarters shooting the ball in.
A lot of times those shots at that line, they do get you going offensively.
D'Amico makes all three. The Dons lead back to 5. Half a minute to play until the break here from St. Patrick High School. Toro with the ball now takes it across the timeline.
Yeah, they're going to play for one unless they get a layup. They're just going to keep the floor open and keep cutting through. But they're only going to take a layup right here.
19 seconds to play.
You know, the one thing, when you do hold for one, there is such a tendency to wait too long to get your offense going and you wind up with a bad shot. So the principle we always taught was make the extra pass at the end of a last possession.
Toro going to the rack, couldn't get it up and in. Rebound covered up by Notre Dame, and that will send us to the break. The Dons up 22-17 over the Shamrocks. Feeling like a much bigger gap between the performance of these two teams so far.
And we're going to take a little bit of a break here. Hey, let's pump up the live stream with, tell your friends out there to jump on this live stream. We're going to have games of the week. We got Friday night. We got a big game at DePaul against Ignatius, and Saturday we get to see Notre Dame again against Fenwick with Bryce Hopkins, the number 2 player you got ranked in the class. Kid going to Kentucky. Great chance to catch up on Bryce because you can't get in the stands to see him.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing you feel for is, I feel for the kid. The kids are number one. But, there's some die-hard high school basketball fans out there that are dying to get in the gym and see these kids, and they aren't able to. And
well, that's why we're doing what we're doing.
Absolutely right. We'll be with you numerous times over the next few weeks. We're going to send it to a break right now. We ask you in the second half to tweet your questions to @NoFansTV for a chance to interact with Coach Malnati here, Joe Henricksen.
Yeah, you can ask any question you want. We got time.
Yeah, it just depends on whether or not you want to answer it. Notre Dame holding on to a 5-point lead over St. Pat's. We'll be back in a little bit. You are tuned in to Chicago High School Game of the Week on No Fans in the Stands TV.
What are they saying, Tommy? I know, but are they commenting on it? Not on you guys, just between schools? About the teams and the kids? I don't know. I still don't understand what they're saying, what they're doing. Is it up there? Go look at it. You want to see it? Yeah. I want to just get a flavor.
Back from the half on No Fans in the Stands TV. Nick Magas here with Rick Malnati and Joe Henricksen. Our first ever No Fans in the Stands broadcast, bringing you some of the best Chicago high school hoops matchups over the remainder of the COVID-shortened season. This is our first. We'll be doing a few over the next few weeks, along with a tournament at the end of the year that we've been getting quite a few questions about on Twitter. March 12th and 13th will be the Chipotle Clash of Champions. And Rick, I'll let you go into that a little bit more.
Yeah, well, we're really excited to come out with 8 of the, right now, best 10 teams in the state, vying for a championship at the end of the year, something to look forward to. St. Pat's, Notre Dame, both taking place. For sure, the finals on Saturday. We're going to have it run similar to the old state tournament when there was, 4 games played on Friday, 2 games played with the winners in the morning Saturday, and a championship Saturday night. Jay Hood and Cap from the morning show ESPN going to broadcast those games on ESPN Plus. The Friday games being live streamed, and those games Saturday are going to be at Notre Dame. And right now we don't have a site for the Friday games, but as soon as we do, we'll let you know. The teams in the tournament, as you can see on the screen right now, we'll get this chance to see DePaul Prep, Tom Kleinschmidt, who invented changing defenses. He's Friday night. Saturday we go see Notre Dame playing against the Friars of Fenwick right down the road.
Well, you got, in that group of teams, Rick, in the current Chicago Sun-Times top 10, you have 8 of them, including the top 6. So that's a heck of a group that's going to be playing for something at the end of the year.
Yeah, we are looking so forward to that, kind of ending the season where the kids really got something to look forward to.
So back at it with St. Pat's and Notre Dame for right now. Felt like a lopsided game through most of the first half, but the Dons, when it all was said and done for that half, leading by only 5 points. There's a missed shot right there from Tamaris Brown. Both teams struggling to shoot from the floor. For Notre Dame, it was 2 for 15 from three-point range. As we expected, Anthony Sales and Louis Lesmond leading the scoring for Notre Dame. They had 8 apiece.
Yeah, but even on that 2 of 15, Notre Dame didn't rebound the 13 misses, so it's okay shooting those perimeter shots against 1-3-1. Well, you got to make them. You got to make some of them. But you should be able to get a few rebounds against the team that's zoning them. And I'm sure that's what Coach Clancy said at halftime.
Yeah, I don't recall a 1 second chance scoring opportunity, actually.
Great pass. Again, D'Amico, you talk about Lesman's versatility. There's D'Amico going in the lane and giving his teammate an easy hoop.
That's where he's really improved over the last, 12, 18 months. He's just gotten better and better with his perimeter skills. Last season it really stood out to me. That really took his game to another level.
Smart play right there from Tamaris Brown, falling out of bounds, throwing the ball off his defender. It'll stay with Pats below the basket.
That's the second time they almost got a layup on that baseline inbounds. They just running a little curl.
Malnati now steps back, picks up his dribble, and throws it away. Sales going the other way. Euro step. Shot's no good, but he'll go to the line.
Yeah, that was the sophomore, Sonny Williams, who
gives them some quickness and out in the perimeter.
Yeah, he didn't start the first half. He's taken to Franz's spot in the starting lineup for the second half. Little switch. So you think Sonny Williams is a college prospect, Joe? I know he's only a sophomore.
He's a sophomore. Plays the Illinois Wolves on the club circuit, and he's just, he showed some flashes here and there, but he's just a sophomore. Going to get better and better.
Well, Mike Mullins, speaking of the Wolves, Mike Mullins just does a tremendous job with kids, developing kids with the Wolves program.
And both Sales and Louis are both Illinois Wolves players as well.
Trying to get inside is Brown.
A lot of dribbling, and they're not getting into the paint. There we go.
That's the 4th travel of the ball game. If you're just joining us, St. Pat's turning the ball over a lot more than we expected in the early going. and called for their 4th travel right there. So it goes back to the Dons.
You got a feeling that right here, it's make or break time a little bit. You just feel a shift in momentum. It's an 8-point game.
On as hard as points have been come by for St. Pat's, you do not want to get down, double digits, down 12, 13, 14. They're right there in that 8-point deficit right now.
D'Amico passed up an open look from that far corner. Now he gets it back up top, and Sales just loses it out of bounds.
Fortunate right there for St. Pat's to get it back on a turnover that's uncharacteristic of Anthony Sales. If he was playing quarterback, that would have been a fumble.
And he had a direct shot, he had a direct lane to the basket there. And
do you know if he's playing football this year, Joe? Now that the football season is after the basketball season, is he going to play basketball or football in college?
He is certainly built like a football player. I mean, he is put together. Plays quarterback.
It's just hard to penetrate this defense right now. Good pass by Coro.
It's Serge Rivera. First time we've said his name today, getting inside.
They need a basket. Gelati back in the game, probably in the game trying to get him a basket, put him in.
Yeah, Rivera is expected to give him a little scoring punch. He was the leading scorer on the sophomore team last year for them at the sophomore level.
5 call, almost. Caleb Coro's got to get some penetration.
Ayeni with the ball outside, now to Hamilton. The big man going all the way to the basket, but can't finish. Rebound by Sales, and the Notre Dame Dons have numbers. Williams up and under, draws the foul.
Good job by Sales, drawing the defenders to himself and dishing off and putting Sonny Williams on the line again.
I mentioned a moment ago, someone has to get to the basket for St. Pat's, and they play drive and kick basketball with that motion offense. That's the goal, and they haven't been able to do it effectively so far today.
Yeah, a lot of penetration going sideways and not a lot of penetration going downhill at the rim. They got to get into the paint. When you're driving the ball, you got to get the ball into the paint. Make your teammates more effective playing 4-on-3, 3-on-2, 2-on-1, getting long closeouts.
And you're getting close to that, that must-need basket here. They came out of the half.
If they don't score here, Bailey's going to call a timeout next possession. He can't let it go too much further.
Williams made both his free throws. That extended the Notre Dame lead to 10. Now it's Coro going baseline. Kicks it out. Brown shot faked and draws a foul.
Well, that time Brown, after the shot fake, kind of went back from where the ball came from. I think in a perfect world, you want to shot fake and take it away from where the ball came from because the defense is right there, kind of where he drove the ball. And he's lefty. Should have been a great opportunity to drive the middle of the floor right there.
Long pass into the corner from Coro. Off the back of the iron. Sales pushing it up ahead. DeFranza couldn't handle it. Out of bounds. The call waiting. It's going the other way.
Notre Dame's better than this, and so is St. Pat's. We got off to a sloppy part at the beginning of the game, and it's sloppy right now here at the start of the second half.
Yeah, again, you keep going back. You don't want to make excuses, but it is so early, and that layoff, you just cannot underestimate, the time it's going to take to get back in sync, get in the flow. They just have not played together anywhere near what they're accustomed to playing together.
And playing with mass on, I gotta believe it's hard to catch your breath all the time. I think it's a lot easier to play full speed when you can breathe.
I'm going back to that shot clock question.
Let's go.
You're saying you would not want it in high school basketball?
Me personally, from the situations I was in, especially at Notre, where sometimes you had to negate athleticism to win big. So, if we're going to play against every team in the state and try and compete for state championships, the more we could spread people out, the more we could get people impatient, the better it was for us. I think it's better for the better teams to have a shot clock. So in high school, you want to even up the field.
We did that with 4 classes.
Well, I don't like that. I don't like that, Joe. Let me tell you, I don't like that. I go back to 2 classes right now.
So Rick wants 2 classes and no shot clock.
I'm not a big shot clock advocate. And the other thing is, the problem is it's expensive. You got to put shot clocks in every gym. You got to put another scorer at the table. Maybe I'll tell you what, Joe. Maybe in our season-ending tournament of those 8 teams, maybe we put a shot clock in there.
Shot clock. I'm just saying the shot clock's coming.
Hey, but if we do that, then you got to change the name of your podcast. You got to go from no shot clock to yes shot clock.
It won't be implemented next year, but within 2-3 years, Illinois will have a shot clock.
I got it. Listen,
it's coming. I just think that's the rules you play with your whole going forward in college.
Do they play with it in AAU?
Well, that will come with it as well.
Well, probably don't need it.
That's Brown from deep.
And I'll tell you what,
short.
We played at the Proviso Christmas tournament one year, and they experimented with the shot clock. I bet throughout the whole tournament, there were 2 shot clock violations. So the reality is, at the end of quarters, end of halves, I like to, depending on the situation, hold the ball. I wouldn't hold the ball for the whole game.
Foul called right there on Notre Dame. 2 missed field goals coming out of the mask timeout, 1 for each of these teams. It's a 28-18 lead. Notre Dame over the Shamrocks. 4 minutes and 14 seconds to play here in the 3rd quarter. And Nick Galati going to the line.
The hardest thing to guard in basketball is dribble penetration, and that time Gelati took it right into the teeth of the defense and drew the foul. In a time where they needed points. These are 2 big points right here.
It's assuming Galati gets the second, which he does.
I think St. Pat sometimes traps after free throws at half court out of the 1-3, and we're not going to see it right now, but I think that's part of their repertoire.
DeFranza in the corner for Notre Dame. We're back out to Sales. Here's Lesman.
I love Lesman's ball fakes and shot fakes.
He is a very skilled basketball player.
And sneaky athletic.
Yeah, we haven't seen that yet, but he
That's
will.
A charge, no call.
There's Louis Lesman knocking down the triple.
I think that's their 3rd 3, and I think Lesman has all 3 of them.
Yep.
He does. He's
made
3, missed 5.
He's been clearly the difference in this game.
Yeah.
Lesman coming off a 22-point performance against Mundelein on Sunday afternoon. And Sales now surveys the defense for Notre Dame.
Can't play zone with your hands down. St. Pat's has their hands down across the board. Looking a little tired.
The foul off the ball. It'll stay with Notre Dame.
Well, Rick, we're not at that point yet, but to what you said earlier about a 1-3-1 team getting down double digits, at what point do you start? I know you can extend that, you can trap out of it, but if you're getting down, you're dangerous territory right here.
And I agree, and that's why, for me, it's a weapon. You have it in your repertoire. It's a weapon you can throw out to give, once you get comfortable against anything, man or zone, on offense, life becomes easy. The game slows up, and kids are able to make plays. It's when they got to make different reads and different things like that the game becomes a little more complicated. And you're also talking about a Notre Dame team that's got 3 4-year players. I mean, Lesman played a lot at Evanston his sophomore year, went to the state tournament, big time action, productive. All these guys who had productive junior years. There's not going to be a lot of things that they see that they haven't seen before. So, and they're not running on full cylinder. They're not playing as good as they're capable of playing.
So for these 2 teams, obviously Coach Malnati coaching Illinois for a long time. When you're coming into a season that's short, you don't have a whole lot of time to prep. They weren't given a whole lot of notice, these 2 teams, and I think we're starting to see the effects of that a little bit here. As a coach, you're always pressed for time trying to get your team prepared for the season. What kind of stuff, are you focusing on if you only have 7 practices before your first game? And what are the things that kind of fall by the wayside?
Well, I think every coach kind of has a checklist. That's a big steal there by Tamaris.
And one. Tamaris Brown going coast to coast. The layup, and he'll try and add one to the three-point play.
I hope Hamilton didn't touch that on the rim because that would have been a really bad play. Did they give him the basket?
It looks like they're waving off the basket.
I think one ref said he's shooting 2 and one ref said he's shooting 1. I know they'll figure it out. But, like you're saying, you got to feel for the coaches, first of all. Only 6 days of practice, go right into the season and play, knowing that you're in a sprint of a 5-week season. There's a lot of stuff that went by the wayside. The one thing that can't go by the wayside is effort. You got to demand great effort, but you're not going to be ready for every zone or every press break, or unless you have an experienced team, and that's where I think Notre Dame has a big advantage.
And I give a lot of the coaches I've talked to, Rick, credit in this last 2 weeks of talking about how they are changing and stepping back a little bit as a coach as far as let's get and play games. It is an abnormal time. We've never been through anything like this. They haven't played. There's just way less practice time. And coaches, to their credit, are lining up this season for the kids to play games, to play 3, 4, or 5 times in a week.
Yeah, I really agree with that too. I think coaches are really making this year, not that they don't always, but really making it about the kids.
You can see D'Amico hesitating a little bit. He had a couple of open looks on that possession. He had a lane to the basket that would have been an easy take. And on that shot right there, didn't look confident going up with it. Just not quite his game, coming off a tough one against Mundelein.
He's not himself right now. No, and he's one of my top guys in the state of Illinois. I'll take him any day of the week.
Minute 48 to play here in the third period. Notre Dame leading 31-23.
Big last minute 48. St. Pat's got to get something going here. They need to get a couple easy baskets and get a couple stops. That's not going to help him.
It's picked away by Lesman, passes it up ahead.
And Lesman almost too unselfish.
Yeah, direct path to that basket.
And I think Lynch thought he was going to take it too. I think Lynch did pull up a little bit thinking Lesman was just going to go up and dunk the ball. I'll tell you what though, as a coach, you'd rather people be a little unselfish than selfish. You can always make them selfish. You can't always turn them the other way and make them unselfish.
That's what I was talking about last year with this Notre Dame team. That's what they thrive with. They had such that's some on Kevin Clancy's part.
Yeah.
Being able to manage high-profile 3 Division I guys all on one team and to share the basketball the way they did a year ago is a credit to all 3 of those guys and Coach Clancy.
And I think that's the compliment that I think you guys always talk about on your podcast about Rob Smith or Tyrone Slaughter or something. These guys have, 5 Division I players and they're getting them to play together as a team. That's hard to do.
Oh, it's an underrated aspect. I mean, everybody says, oh, they got all the players.
Yeah.
Yes. But that is, as you as a coach, you know how hard it is just in every year, every season's a different group, and you are managing that in a way that is best for, your program, your team, but also giving those stars their opportunities to shine and come together. And, you mentioned Simeon and Young doing that.
Nate Lambert in the game for the Dons hustles for an offensive board right there and gets the ball to stay with Notre Dame. Lambert with the basketball now up top, gets it to Sales.
The one thing different about this podcast or this live stream is we get some questions. And I'm getting Bill Behrens from Loyola telling me that the reason Clancy is as good as he is because he tutored him, when he was a young guy. Now, Bill's a great SID at Loyola, but I don't know about Bill doing much coaching back in the day.
Inside of a minute to play here in the third quarter. Notre Dame with a 7-point lead over St. Pat's.
Clancy, obviously, an assistant for, some really good teams with Tom Leff.
Yep. Bradley guy.
Yep.
Carl Maniscalco in the stands, Bradley guy. Sammy Maniscalco, probably the best player to play at St. Pat's in the last 20 years, Bradley guy. That's like the Harvard of the Midwest, Joe. You didn't know that, but
Sales almost lost it, got it back out.
Ooh.
And a tough cross-court pass. Galati got a hand on it, tries to save it, and he can't.
I'm a little surprised Notre Dame's playing for a last shot here.
30 seconds now in the third quarter.
Now they're going to play for one. Now you might as well take a couple chances if you're St. Pat's. You know a team's holding for one. Try and trap out of it because they're going to be a little tentative right here. This is where people make mistakes.
There it is. There's the mistake you were just talking about. Sales threw it away as Lesman tried to cut to the basket. Now with 18 seconds to play in the third quarter, St. Pat's will have a chance to hold for the last shot.
If you're St. Pat's, one of your seniors got to come through for you right here. Galati's got to come through, or Coro's got to come through. Maybe the big kid Hamilton's got to make a play.
Bailey said Coro was his shot taker in a situation like this. But Galati with the basketball, crosses over, tries to get inside, step back from the free throw line, got it!
Big time.
A little Michael Jordan push-off there on the free throw line.
Hey, he got a torn ACL. Let the kid play.
But that is huge right there. You're talking about, down 10, 11. You got some momentum. You creep back in within 5, and Notre Dame's letting them hang around.
Yeah, Notre Dame is just not sharp. They are not sharp right now. I know it's early in the season, and they got to have high expectations. Got to weigh on you a little bit.
Well, another thing I wonder about is, the playing with that big season that everybody has forecasted for you, and trying to live up to that and having those high expectations, but also not having those games that you're used to, playing high profile.
1 quarter of basketball to play. It was Galati knocking down a big shot right there to pull the Shamrocks within 5. We'll step out for a moment. You're tuned in to No Fans in the Stands TV. Eight minutes of basketball left to play from the gym here at St. Patrick High School in Chicago. Notre Dame with a 5-point lead over the Shamrocks.
And Notre Dame had a chance to step on St. Pat's throat in that third quarter, and they didn't. They let them right back in the game. And like most rivalry games, and especially this type of rivalry game, you can almost expect this is going to go down to the wire now.
Well, they got the ball, they got the momentum, a little more confidence, and within 5. So St. Pat's is, if you told them this is where we'd be heading into the fourth quarter against Notre Dame at home, I think they'd take it.
And they're going to run a set out of this timeout, looking for Gelati coming off a staggered screen, but he was not open.
Ayeni now with the ball going inside with the left hand. A good pass, good cut, but it's picked off. Sonny Williams takes it the other way for Notre Dame.
I like pace. I like Sonny Williams playing with pace.
Blocking foul. Coro thought differently. He goes to the deck. Out of bounds play coming for Notre Dame.
And we're right on top of the Notre Dame bench, and we got a chance to hear Kevin Clancy talk to his team. And I think that's what he was saying. He was saying, let's play with some more pace. Let's push the ball up the floor. Let's attack.
And that's what I would have liked to, to see them do a little bit more of throughout the game. The opportunity to get that defensive rebound, get out, get in transition, get in the open court.
Yeah, they thrive in the open court. They got guys that can make plays in the open court.
That's a travel. Sonny Williams took a little baby step right there.
There's no question this defense is giving them problems. I mean, when they've been in the half court.
Yeah, and especially when they get tentative. Coro needs to make a play here, whether it's an assist or a basket. He needs to make a play.
It's been tough sledding for both of these offenses, but
I think
Galati right into the break, hit a big shot to give some momentum to this Pats team. Now it's Coro going inside, finishes with the left hand off the glass.
I'm a little like Tony Romo, saying what's going to happen before it happens.
Coral got involved.
And they got a chance here, 3-on-2. Coral with the big play.
Coast to coast goes Caleb Coro. It's a 1-point game here at St. Patrick, and Notre Dame has no choice but to call a timeout inside 7 minutes to play in the ball game.
Meanwhile, St. Patrick gets out in transition, gets to the rim, and a 1-point game that, what was it, 11? We have 11-point lead?
It was a double-digit
double digits for sure
lead with a chance to go 13, and St. Pat's was almost dead, and they just didn't knock them out.
And it's that possession right before the end of the third quarter right there. That turnover from Sales is really what shifted the momentum. Galati was able to hit a shot, and just like that, from a 10-point game midway through the third quarter,
and that's
1 point.
That's where your shot clock comes in, Joe. They wouldn't have been holding for one. They would have had to put it up, and would have been a different ball game.
No doubt about it.
But I'll tell you what, the reason the games that we are having on the air, the reason that we're doing these live streams, not only because people can't come to the game and see them in person, get a chance to see the best teams in Chicago, but we want rivalry games. You know, we want games that are going to come down to the end.
Just feel like Notre Dame, like you said, Rick, earlier, had them right there. A couple more possessions, could have maybe etched it out 14, 13 points, and had a chance to kind of separate and put them away. And here they are stuck now, only up to the 1-point lead.
Okay, I think Troy D'Amico needs to play solid this last 650. I think he needs to get a lot more aggressive offensively.
D'Amico with only 4 points total so far today, been pretty much a non-factor for the Dons.
Troy's got to get going. Playing a lot on the perimeter. He's very capable of getting a catch on the post and finishing.
And there is a definite pep in St. Pat's step right now. They are defensively moving.
D'Amico at the high post, now kicks out to Lesman. Lesman from deep. No good. Coro with the board.
They're settling. I know that's an open shot from a great player, but they're settling for threes. And like we said, how many offensive rebounds do they have so far today?
Galati on a bad knee, spinning inside and gives the Shamrocks the lead.
That's their first lead since we were warming up.
32-31 in favor of St. Pat's inside 6 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. It's a small crowd, but they're getting into it here. D'Amico from the corner, that's good.
And that's what he needs to see. And I'll tell you what, I'm making a prediction right now. He's going to go off these next 5 minutes.
All right, Tony.
Romo.
You heard it here first.
They need to stop. Great cut.
Oh. Good finish.
With the putback is Michael Hamilton. Didn't get it the first time, but following his own shot, 34-34. We're all square at Pat's.
And no weak side help at all on that. A back cut, and everybody was watching their man, face guarding their man. Great pass by Troy D'Amico.
Frank Lynch on the finish. Sales loves that kid. Respects him for doing the dirty work for this Notre Dame team. Lynch coming off the bench today after starting at Mundelein. Now Ayeni with the ball and Pats. Now Coro in the corner, dribbling with the left hand. Turning, fadeaway jumper from the free throw line. Knocks it down! 36 all, 4:45 to play in the fourth quarter.
Those senior guards for St. Pat's have just taken over here in the first half of the fourth quarter.
D'Amico from deep. That doesn't go. Hamilton bounces it off the floor. Up high, fought for, in the hands of Galati. Up ahead, picked off by D'Amico. Great job by the senior getting back on defense. Lesman from the corner. Knocks it down. 39-36. Notre Dame leads, 4 minutes to play.
I like this pace now, Joel. This feels like a game. This feels like a game now.
Fun 4 minutes of basketball to start this fourth quarter. You just kind of get that feel that there's a little bit of a more flow to this game, a little more, they're in sync.
A little more flow for sure for both of these two teams. In a season this short, this game usually means a lot, but in a season this short, it means even more for these two groups, even though it's a quieter gym than we would normally have.
And the conference. I mean, this is the East Suburban Catholic Conference, a huge game. Top 2 teams in the league. Yeah, Bennett's going to be around there. Marion Catholic is going to be around in the mix.
Bennett. We don't talk about Bennett until halfway through the season when they're 17-0, and Gene is, whimpering that his team's no good. So, Gene Heitkamp, I got to tell you, to me, I've got my brains beat in enough by Gene Heitkamp. To me, you ask me, give me a guy to coach one basketball game, I'm taking Gene Heitkamp.
He is one of only two-time City Suburban Hoop Support Coaches of the Year in the 25 years. Can you name the other one? It's not Rick Malnati.
I don't think I ever won that.
No, Rick, you won one.
I did?
You won one.
Wow.
I did. He asked like a question. He's got it.
You can see how much it meant to him.
He's got it right above the fireplace. It's the first thing you see when you walk into his house.
That was big, Joe. It meant a lot to me. That was big. I love it. Thank you very much. And the other guy that won 2.
He is retired.
Catholically, publicly.
Suburban Public School.
Suburban Public School.
I'll keep giving clues.
I need clues.
His high school team played at Pontiac for Christmas. Won a state championship in 2000, I believe.
I was going to say Ping, but he didn't play in Pontiac. He won it at Pontiac. So who from around here goes to Pontiac? Simeon goes. I don't know. We got to pay attention.
Gordy Kirkman.
Coach Kirkman, one of the best.
This one's getting good. 4 minutes to play in the fourth quarter.
I got a great Gordy Kirkman story too. So we're playing downstate, and we lost to East St. Louis the year they won it. The year West Aurora won it. And we got our brains kicked in, and Gordy's in the elevator, I'm in the elevator. We had just lost. We got our, brains kicked in. We had a great team. I said, hey, Gordy, if you need any help at all on East St. Louis, he says, that's okay, Coach, I'm okay.
I got it.
I don't think he respected my scouting report after watching the way the game went. There's Troy D'Amico
with the putback, and you didn't want to save the story till Friday.
Yeah, I didn't want to
this game's getting into it. Notre Dame with a 5-point lead. Step back from Brown. Bottom of the net.
That's one of those shots that coach you say, no.
Exactly.
Okay, let's go. Let's play.
But you mentioned, Rick, I'm going to give you your prognostication award here. D'Amico with a 3. Had the assist on the easy bucket. Got the 2 there.
He's going to be involved in every basket on the way home, and he's going to make the game-winning basket, or 3 throws.
Sales dribbling with the left hand. Now Lesmond penetrates, kicks out for D'Amico. Pass down low to Sales, that's good.
Side pocket, Joe. That didn't go in straight. That kind of went in the side pocket. They needed that hoop. Little breathing room, 5 points.
Hey, Notre Dame responded in a big way there.
That's what the number 1 team in the state's supposed to do, especially coming off a loss.
St. Pat's,
That's tough. Galati
all of a
off
sudden,
his foot.
Momentum is shifted, Joe. Momentum is shifted, Nick.
I don't feel the air get sucked out of the gym in the last 2 possessions.
I don't think Notre Dame's going to waste this opportunity. I think they're going to take advantage of this opportunity.
Most recent rankings have Notre Dame as the number 5 team in the state. Pats coming into this game at number 10. 2:20 to play. It's a 5-point ball game. D'Amico going inside. Lost the ball. Tries to get it back. It's a fight for it on the floor. Everybody's involved. We'll see who comes up with it.
You got to like to see Italians on the floor scraping for that ball, that blue-collar Italian effort right there. You love, Carl Maniscalco. You got to love Italian point guards.
No bias there from Malnati.
Not at all.
2:13 to play in the ball game. It'll be Notre Dame ball out of the jump ball when we come back.
Yeah, chance to run a good baseline out of bounds play. 5-point lead right now. Notre Dame, good free throw shooters. Not going to make many mistakes defensively. St. Pat's is up against it. They're going to need somebody to make a big play. I know Tamaris Brown hit that step back 3. But they're going to need another big time play here. And a stop right here.
You got to keep within a 2-possession game and
on the scoring front, it's Tamaris Brown leading the Shamrocks with 12, followed closely by Nick Galati. He has 11. On the Notre Dame side, Louis Lesmond with 14. His teammate Anthony Sales with 13. And it was a quiet game.
That's a quiet 13 from Sales.
Yeah, it really is. And a quiet game in the early going for Troy D'Amico, but Tony Romo predicting the future over here to my left. So I'm heated up in the last few possessions for Notre Dame. He now has 9. Sales running the inbound play. Lesmond has it up top. Sonny Williams surveys the defense, bounce pass to Sales on the near wing.
You know, one of the principles we always talked about against any kind of a half-court trap like this is you break the defense down, and then you re-extend them, and then you go down their throat.
That is such a huge cut right there from Sales. His teammate was falling out of bounds, nowhere to go with the basketball.
St. Pat's got away a little contact there on Sales' drive.
Yeah, it looked to me like Hamilton was straight up, though.
I've taken easy on the refs after the first 2 minutes. Now you're jumping. Now you're jumping in.
Foul on the floor right now. That's the 6th team foul.
Okay, expect
St.
Pat's. Expect St. Pat's to turn the pressure up and expect Notre Dame to look to get an easy basket when they overextend.
Minute 45 to play. Notre Dame with a 5-point lead.
I don't want to preach, but this is where I want a shot clock. Right here in this instance. In a really good game, even match teams. Let's get in play instead of this last 2.5 minutes. I don't need to see fouls, Rick. Over and over to get under the line.
I gotcha. Well, if I'm going to foul a guy, I'm going to foul the sophomore. So let's see what the sophomore's got right here.
Keep an eye on Tamaris Brown, too. That was his 4th foul. So he fouls the sophomore, Sonny Williams. He'll go to the line. Made a couple of free throws earlier. Trying to extend to Notre Dame's 5-point lead, and he does.
That looked easy.
That looked confident.
With a minute 30 to play, St. Pat's finds himself down 7.
3-possession game now.
They were in control a little bit ago, but they see it slipping away. Coro with the basketball.
This is where a lot of teams settle for a 3 instead of attacking the rim.
Go get that quick 2 right here.
Coro knows better. Goes all the way to the basket, kisses it off the glass with the right hand.
Now Bailey's going to extend this defense to the full court. So this is another thing. You know, this is one of those times, you know, an experienced team like Notre Dame getting pressed, you know, not just being satisfied with beating the press, but really sticking it down their throat and attacking the rim, because that's going to be available. It's when you get tentative right now is when you get in trouble.
Yeah, you'd be surprised, you know, to see a team like this get rattled. But again, it'll be a different look than they've seen all game.
And the one thing you do, and one thing I'm sure Coach is saying right now, is don't throw the ball into the corner. You know, keep the ball out of the corner. Don't bring the ball up flat on the sidelines and give yourself an opportunity to get trapped over half court. You want to keep the ball in the middle. You want to keep spacing. And you want to make your cuts from behind the defense.
That's what I was going to ask you. They come out now with a little 3/4 half court trap, or are they going full court trap?
I think they're going to come. I think they're going to extend it to the full court. But I'll tell you what, if they don't get a trap early, for sure they're going to trap in the half court. We got a question about Louis Lesmond compared to Matt Loddick. Is that what's coming? Well, I got to tell you, Louis Lesmond's good, but Matt Loddick won me a lot. I was a good jockey. When you got a good horse, you're a good jockey.
One of the all-time great athletes in state history.
Yeah, well, I mean, he played all-state football, basketball, baseball. Head coach at Valpo right now. I told him about Troy D'Amico. He didn't get it done. So here they are. It's going to be a half court, Joe, not full court, but they're extending. They're waiting for him to go right over half court and put the clamps on him.
And that they do. Good job.
A little late.
A little late here, that's right, getting to D'Amico, and now Sales is tied up.
Wait till the double team comes before you move the basketball. And this is, when you take away the shot, like I get holding the ball, but when you completely take it out of your offensive game plan to score, that's when you get in trouble. You gotta take layups in these situations.
1 minute even on the clock. The 1-and-1 first one from Sales is good.
Division I point guards, gotta make free throws, Joe.
Right now, I mean, if you knock this down, it'd be 4 out of 4 for these guards.
And again, it extends it to a 3-possession game. Again, though, St. Pat should attack the rim. They don't need to settle for 3. Attack the rim, call a timeout.
50 seconds to play. Coro going all the way to the basket, cuts inside, draws the foul.
Great play by Caleb Coro. I think the only thing missing from Caleb Coro is probably quickness and speed. He's got the skill, he's got the smarts, and that makes up for a lot.
And that's really, you know, when you talk about evaluations, I mean, that's a big part of that big difference between small college basketball and that Division I level. Is that quickness, is that overall athleticism, but you know, he's going to be a really nice small college basketball player.
Which one do you think is easier to coach, though? Because you get a lot of point guards in this league who they're quick, they're athletic, but you know, with the basketball in their hands, they don't always know what they're doing. Which one would you rather have?
Well, I want a guy that doesn't make mistakes. Caleb Coro doesn't make mistakes. I've known him since he was in the 6th grade. He used to come to the Fenwick camps. He's always been a very skilled kid. Now you got to come out. You got to make a play. You got to foul. You can't wait. You can't let the clock tick.
6-point deficit for Pats. 38 seconds to play, and a foul is drawn by Sales.
Let's not get chippy here at the end of the game. Let's just finish the game. So he's still shooting 1-and-1s. Notre Dame's been money at the line, and that's going to pay dividends at the end of the year. You get your guards making free throws, tight games. Because right now, a miss is like a turnover.
Nothing but string from Sales.
That sophomore group's over across the way is into it. This whole game for the, I assume that's a sophomore or freshman.
They have to be. Who else is going to bring the energy? What choice do you have?
Wow, 6 out of 6 from the line for those guards.
That's huge, showing the maturity from the Notre Dame team. Cool under pressure, 8-point game, and it's as good as toast as Pats tries to find somewhere to go for the ball. Brown from 3. Gets a friendly roll off the backboard.
Friendly roll. But 5 points with 21 seconds, Joe.
I spoke maybe a little too soon, but like you said, 21 seconds, 5 points is a tall ask as we go to a timeout.
Now they got to come full court. They got to try and get a 5-second call. They got to look to try and take a charge. They just can't let time run off the clock. They got to make something happen quick.
Tamaris Brown has showed again. He's hit a couple threes today. If he can show a consistent perimeter jumper with that body size, I mean, that's a nice combination for a fast-rising junior prospect.
Was he on your radar all the time, or is he a kid that?
Yeah, last year, I got a good look at him and put him among my top 15 prospects in the class, and he'll be a Division I kid.
Well, let's give a shout out to our producer from Dot Productions, Tom Molitor, doing an unbelievable job spinning those dials over there. 3 cameras rolling. Doesn't get any better than that. And then let's highlight the game Friday. We go to Paul Prep against St. Ignatius. St. Ignatius had a tough loss, I know, to Loyola. Have they lost any other games?
That was their only one.
Only one. Ignatius got a nice blend of some youth and experienced senior point guard, Parker Higginbotham, and then you got, DePaul Prep's definitely favored. I mean, T.Y. Johnson's a star guard.
Going to Loyola. Porter Moser.
Yep.
Porter Moser, maybe the best coach in the country, Joe.
He's definitely the hottest.
Well, I'll tell you what. He's got the
full
package.
Name.
The full package. It's unbelievable that he is still at Loyola University.
Bennett guy.
He's a Bennett guy, but he would have rather went to New Chair.
20 seconds to go. 5-point lead for Notre Dame. Foul is called. That one sends D'Amico to the line.
Notre Dame's kind of loaded up their schedule. They're playing almost every day. We'll get a chance to see them against Saturday against Fenwick. I want to see that matchup. Bryce Hopkins, probably Troy D'Amico guarding them.
You know, you're playing a 15-game season. You might as well make those 15 games as good as they can be. D'Amico, cool, collected, knocks it down.
Notre Dame has not missed a free throw here in the last 3 minutes of the game.
7 out of 7 these last 7 attempts, and this is really kind of the big one, though. I mean, you get this one, 3 possessions with 17 seconds left. It's pretty much over.
And now St. Pat's can't settle for shooting layups. They got to hit a 3.
D'Amico looks like he's starting with that front toe about a foot behind the free throw line, which is pretty uncommon.
He should get more than a point when you shoot it from farther down.
Brown from long distance. That won't go.
And this game is over.
Rebound by Lynch, and that will do it. It was close down the stretch, but Notre Dame will run out the clock coming into St. Pat's and getting a 7-point victory after a loss to Mundelein, the number 5 team in the state. Back in the win column, they improve to 6-1 and get a big win over their crosstown rival in St. Pat's.
Well, I like the way that St. Pat's battled back, and I think their best basketball is ahead of them this year. They're not going to lose many games, Joe.
What I saw was that fourth quarter. You could see both teams settling in. You could see a definite step in the right direction for both these teams that, you know, with that tournament at the end of the year, who knows, they could find their way to a matchup again.
Well, we can't let the East Suburban teams play the first round. We're going to separate them in the first round, but for sure in the winner's bracket, they could match up. Well, what are some closing comments, closing thoughts, Joe? I know when we came in, we talked about it being still like Thanksgiving as far as high school basketball goes, but we did see some progress as the game went on.
Yeah, definitely that fourth quarter. I mean, that was probably the best quarter of basketball I've seen of the games live or stream that I've watched so far. I also felt like, maybe it's because I was in the gym, but you could feel a little bit more intensity in this game with these two teams in a rivalry like that. And then again, I just keep pointing out about that Notre Dame balance. You look at D'Amico, Sales, and Louis Lesman, 14, 17, and 11. Again, all 3 in double figures again. And that's kind of been their mantra. And that was last year. You know, they're not guys that are going to go get you 28, 32 in a game. They are 3 guys that each team's going to have to focus. You cannot just focus on one, and they continue to do what they do best.
And
complement each other well.
You can count on them. Okay, so we got DePaul, Mundelein, Evanston, St. Pat's, Notre Dame, Fenwick, Simeon, and Whitney Young all gearing up, meeting each other, collision course in the Chipotle Clash of Champions at the end of the year. So excited. Can't wait. I really can't wait to see kind of that old, you know, it is exactly how they do it down in Pontiac, right? They got the best 8 teams in the second round, then they played 2 games the last day.
Yep.
So
you got the semifinals in the afternoon down in Pontiac, and they come back and play that night, and you know, it was 3 games in 2 days.
Okay, well, let's thank Nick, the voice of Northwestern basketball, does the radio over at Northwestern, a sophomore over at Northwestern. Again, he couldn't get in Bradley, so he went to Northwestern. Because Bradley has most of the major announcers, you know, back in the day, you know, but that's okay. Northwestern's got a few too. But Nick, great job. Joe, great job. Great being with you. And
you, Mo, thank you for setting this up. I mean, with the IHSA tournament getting canceled, this is great. Get some rivalry games leading up to a postseason tournament champion for all, you know, the loyal high school basketball fans out there who are just dying to see some good hoops this year.
So we got to get them going to No Fans in the Stands TV.
At No Fans TV, follow us on Twitter. No Fans in the Stands TV. Where did that inspiration strike you? You sent me a list. You sent me a list of like 15 names and said pick. And I'll be honest, this was like 15th.
You didn't like it? I like no fans in the stands. As you see today, there's no fans in the stands.
You're right, but I'm the one who has to say it coming out of every break.
Well, that's okay. We got to get people putting it on their social media.
Practicing in front of the mirror, trying to make sure I can spit it out of my mouth okay.
Tommy said I got 3 people following me on Twitter now, so I'm way up. I know Joe's got about 42,000. So let's wrap it up, and let's get ready for that game Friday. Let's get home before the snow gets
We'll
us.
be with you on Friday for St. Ignatius and DePaul and Saturday for Notre Dame and Fenwick. Until then, Nick Magas with Rick Malnati and Joe Henricksen saying so long for now. Thank you for joining us, and we'll be back.